Okay, today we're going to learn halacha. If you're allowed to go to a place like McDonald's, let's say for an appointment, or to have buy water or coffee, or any other such a store that's known to sell mainly treifas, the shaila would be if there is a problem with maris ayin. Somebody that see you walking over there might think you might be buying some treifa food. Now, so the shaila would be not in every place they have treifa food as a shaila. If you walk to a grocery store, going to some big supermarket, everybody knows that there's mainly is not a store of treifas. They sell everything, so everybody knows there's no maris ayin over there. You're going to Kroger's, everybody buying to buy your groceries. But in such a place that they're mainly selling treifa food like McDonald's and the chadoime, are you allowed to go buy their water, buy coffee, or have an appointment over there? So l'chayr, these things start really from the Chumash. And Sefer Bamidbar, Perek Lamed Beis, it says over there when Bnei God of Bnei Reuven wanted to stay in Ever Yarden, not going to Eretz on the other side of Ever Yarden, and Moshe Rabbeinu gave them a whole shmooze that. It's not right what they want to do. Then one of the things he told them, when it should come and fight with all the Eden to conquer Eretz Yisrael, then you go back. Then you go back to where you want to live. And he says, "V'yisem nikiyim me'Hashem Yisrael." So Moshe Rabbeinu told them to Bnei Gad, "V'yisem nikiyim," meaning people should not choshad you that you don't want to be part of us, you don't want to fight with us. This way you visem nekim. So from that posuk visem nekim, there's a lot of Gemaras learning how you have to be careful what you do. It shouldn't look bad. There's an inyan now. You can say, "Oh, I know what I'm doing it. Hashem knows. I know." No, it's not good enough. You know, Hashem knows. You have to. The appearance have to be also good. It should not look like you're doing something wrong. Like I said, there's so many Gemaras on this. So, but I want to mention one Gemara. It's a Maseches Shkolim. Like I said, so many, but this is a very, very clearly talk about like this. A Gemara says over there, when they do Trumas Halishka, when you used to take the machzah shekel from people and put it inside in the Beis Hamikdash, the Gemara says, "Ena toirem." It's in Perek Shlishi, Maseches Shkolim, Halacha Beis. Ena toirem nichnas lo bepargot, chafus, v'lo beminal, v'lo besandal, v'lo betfilin, v'lo bekamiyah. Meaning you can't go inside Beis Hamikdash, anything that you might hide money over there. Not in folded pants, not with shoes. Maybe you put in your folded pants some money, some coins, maybe in your shoes. And it's filling, none of this. You cannot do any that looks like. We're talking about somebody working a gaba in Beis Hamikdash. Obviously, somebody trustworthy, and you're working in the Beis Hamikdash, a holy place. Who would think you're gonna go steal some coins? You cannot do that. Why? Shema Ye'oni. Maybe Chaz v'Shalom, there was a gzera on you to become poor. This guy became poor because he was stealing from the lishka. Or Shema Ye'oshir. Maybe you're gonna become rich. And people are going to say, you made money over there, you became rich. She'odom tzorich lotzes yedei abris. That's the lashon of the Mishnah. A person, he has obligation to lotzes yedei abris. Not only Hashem knows what I do. No, people also, you have to come clean in front of people. Kederech shu tzorich lotzes yedei hamokim. Shenemar, and that's the Mishnah mentioned this pasuk. Yisam nekiyim me'Hashem Yisrael v'oimer. That's a pasuk, the last pasuk the Mishnah mentioned. It's a Mishle. U'mitzochen v'sechel toiv ve'en elikim v'odom. You have to be moitzochen ve'en elikim v'odom. And the Tosfos Yom Tov, the Torah mentioned this Tosfos Yom Tov. He says they're bringing this pasuk to add what? He says because to tell you it's an obligation, it's a choiv. You have to come clean. Why? The first pasuk, V'yisem nekiyim, could be Moshe Rabbeinu giving him an eitzah. It's a good idea. You should come clean. It's not choiv. So the Mishnah brings a second Mishnah, you have to do that. Meaning, so we're obligated to come clean, meaning it should people not choshed us we're doing something wrong. Obviously, we're talking about with everything within reason. Okay, so Lamaisa, walking to such a store, it is within reason, it's reasonable to think, because we don't see usually from people walking to such a store. It's not for a coffee, not for a water, and not for an appointment, because this doesn't look good. Now, there is many Gemaras. There's a Gemara in Chulin. The Gemara in Chulin says like this. Aber Omru Chachamim, that's Daf Mem Daled Amud Beis. Harchek min nakiur min adoim aloi. Not only you should not do something nasty, min nakiur, it's something nasty spiritually. Min adoim aloi, it means something similar. The Gemara says harchek. Like I said, there's so many. I'm not mentioning all the Gemara. There's so many Gemaras on them. The Gemara in Brachas, Daf Mem Gimel Amud Beis. The Gemara says, "Al yetzek shumavusam l'shuk." Don't go with too much and to the street when you mavusam, when you a lot of perfumes on you. If people know those places, they are choshud, God forbid, on mishkav zochur, the homos over there. So if you're gonna come like a ladies go with perfume, people think you have something to do with that. Over there, you have to be very careful. Then the Gemara says, if you're doing it on the clothing, it's also, if you're doing it on your body to remove the sweat, it's allowed to. The machlok is legabe your hair, if it's like your clothing or like your body. But the Gemara says another thing, don't go in the places nobody walks at night alone. People might think you're going to do some avera. If you don't have a chavrusa, well, kavir leidna meda yada de leidna kaozil. Rashi, especially Madgish, you Rebbe said you a chavrusa. Everybody knows you have a chavrusa. The idea of here, though, you cannot do things that doesn't look good. You are mechuyav to do things look good. There's another. We see a similar idea in Torah also. We have one mitzvah in Torah that you don't do the mitzvah in the usual way because it's going to look bad. Which one? There's a halacha, if you lend money to somebody, you could take from him a mashkan, a collateral. There's a pasuk in Torah that says clearly that you l'sachbel beged almona. All the halachas of taking collateral you're not allowed to do it with an almona, the widow. You're not allowed to do it. Why? The Rab Shimon brings. It says, the Rab Shimon says, Rab Shimon Amar, Ashira mamashkin in oisa, aniya and mamashkin in oisa. A rich woman, you could take a collateral, not a poor. Why? Shato chayav lachzir lo, because if it's a poor person, you have to constantly return and take it back. A rich, you don't have to. She's not desperate. You're giving her a bad name. People might think you're doing an aveira with her. Even though the halacha, we don't paskin like Rab Shimon, the paskin like Rab Yudah. It's a lo plug. Everybody, a woman cannot. The poskim argue if it's only belongs to almona or grusha or pnuya. So in Choshen Mishpat, the Sma and the Taz argue with this. The Sma said that. He said like this: "V'nokat almono she'en lo oizer v'soymech." It comes from a different reason, not because of the sibah of Rab Shimon. Since we don't pass with Rab Shimon, he says the reason you're not allowed to take from almona a collateral because she doesn't have any support. Lo mi isha, she doesn't have a husband. Lo mi avia, not from the father. She kavayotzo mershusay. He says v'adin gerusha. Gerusha also, she's alone. Memela, you're not allowed to take from them the collateral because you're going to go back and forth and it's going to be this. By the way, it's not Shemra because why I'm saying this? Because it says the Sma says Lafuke besula shebirshus avia. Kach nireli, he says. Mashenken, a single woman, he says besula, she still have the support of the father, not some single. She is under the father's authority. Meaning, according to the Sma, if we don't pass with Rav Shimon, the whole thing is because she cannot afford it. If she could afford it, she had the help of the father, so you could take the collateral. However, the Taz strongly disagrees with him, and he sees the same thing is he goes like this. Even though we don't pass with Rav Shimon, but the reasoning of Rav Shimon, it's still there because of Shemra. It looks bad. By a pnuya also, and he concludes. Meaning the reason Rabbi Yudah says lo plug, you don't take shira aniyah from anybody, but the reason originally was because it could be you could come to Inyan of Shemra, and the way he concludes with he says like this: Besma kosav the besula and isur kshi bebeis aviyah kamesh shel ov vi bershusay v'tmihani, he says, and I'm surprised, he says, I'll pay kodesh yomar ken, such a holy mouth should say such a thing. Says the main thing according to the Taz, it's mitzum shemra. Again, we see over here the Ian of it shouldn't look good. The maris ayin. It says in Torah, "L'gabe bnei God bnei Reuven." It's l'gabe Ian of don't take collateral from an almana. Also, very very clear. We see. I'm just going to mention two more places. The Gemara, the Mishnah and Kilayim, the Perek test, that's the end of Kilayim, says Hashirayim va'kolachim shum Kilayim. Kilayim is to wear together when they sew together wool and cotton. Yeah,
wool and linen.
And well, it's originally really cotton. We're going to see this in the linen.
Cotton.
Yeah, it's cotton. The pishtim is cotton. No.
Oh well.
Pishtim isn't cotton. Pishtim.
I don't know.
People say linen, but I think
not shatnez kilayim.
No, Shanas Kilayim is the same thing. Yeah, Shanas Kilayim.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a wool and linen, but mainly it's Kilayim, it's Pishtan. Linen, I'll tell you where it's coming from. That's exactly what this Mishnah is.
Okay. I thought the
What it says,
different plants.
Hashirayim va'kolach. What Shirayim va'kolach? They're both from the family of the silk, meshi.
Mm-hmm.
Different ways to do the silk, many ways. One of them look like cotton. One of them look like wool.
Right.
So Gemara, the Mishnah says, Ashirayim v'akalach and b'mishum kilayim. They're not kilayim. They're none of them. They're not wool and they're not cotton. They silk. Aval asur mitne maris ayin. The asur because people might think you're wearing. One of them looks like cotton. One of them looks like wool. It might look you over an isur sharpness kilayim. However, all the poskim bring with no machloikas on it, the two, the bartendura, and all the poskim halacha lemaisa says since in our countries everybody know that they hear what it says. That wasn't so common by them. This garment shirayim v'kolach that's from the family of silk. So they did not know what it is. They could osur lachluf ilkach asur, but it was osur b'zman Mishnah mit nemaris ein. Aval ha'idna shameshi motzu benenu. It's very popular among us. Silk. V'akol yodim makirim bo. Everybody knows there's a silk family. It's nothing to do with the one. None of them. He says osur and shorei and shum isur mishum shel meshi betzemer b'pishtim. It said there's no problem with that. So we see from here, Maris Ayin, it's a really logical thing. Meaning, when it looks bad, you don't do it. That's why Bazmana Mishnah Shirayim B'Kolach was also Maris Ayin. Later on, all the poskim bring, like I said, today everybody knows what it is. It's no Maris Ayin. Yeah. So Lamaisa, by the way, that's the last I bring for today. Like I said, there's so many more Gemaras. I'm just bringing. There is a Gemara in Maseches Shabbos talks about Neiras Chanukah. If you have two doors, one from one side of the house, one from the other side of the house, the Gemara says you have to light two. When they used to light outside, you have to light two menorahs. It's one balabas. Why we need two menorahs? Because I'm shumari so and somebody might think if you're going to put it on one side and somebody passing on your other door going to think it's the same thing you didn't light on this door, you didn't light over there. Mishumari so So you see, maris so is a very very strong thing. Memela. Chazal didn't ask us such a thing. Don't go to a store. But since Lamaisa, it has to do with the Metzias. If it looks bad, you see a frum guy, a Jewish guy walking to McDonald's, or in such a store that they mainly sell treifas, even though you don't mean to buy treifa, it would be also to go there. Mishomaris ayin, but to be v'isem nakim me'Hashem Yisrael.
Shkoch.